All right, guys. Hey, welcome in to the first live stream episode of the Outspoken Sportscast. And as you can tell, you got your hosts, Brian and Jeff, on the line.
What's going on, everybody?
We are super excited to start this live stream, and we are super excited to move this podcast going forward. We've got a great episode this week for you. We are going to come at you with more content. We're everywhere we can be found as a podcast. We're on TikTok, we're on social media, and we're going to start live streaming too to YouTube. Hopefully, get on the Facebook live stream as well. So, buckle in, guys. We're super excited for this. I hope you guys are too. We're glad to be able to do this live stream. So, we've got an interesting show for you today. We got a little bit of everything. We've got basketball, we got football, we got baseball, we've got your spotlight of the week, which is our main topic of the week. Then we break down the headlines of the week, and we give you a segment where me and Jeff kind of tell you a little bit about ourselves, and that's called "What's in Our Locker." So, welcome in, buckle in. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun ride. So, the spotlight of this week, Jeff, is Ben Simmons saga in the 76ers. It's pretty toxic there. I believe 4 months ago, Ben Simmons has asked for a trade from the 76ers. The 76ers did not really want to trade him, right? They tried to kind of look around. They didn't get what they were asking for. They're wanting Simmons now to honor his contract. He has he has 4 years left and $157 million contract left on the table. The team gave him this deal 1 year ago. It was a 5-year deal altogether. They wanted him to be that future player, that future star, and they gave him that contract to be that guy. Simmons. So let's talk about that a little bit, Jeff. So Ben Simmons last year in the playoffs kind of choked. He's a good basketball player. He failed to take the last shot. He actually passed on a shot that would have an easy dunk that would have tied the game up in a playoff game. Passed it away for a 3-point shot. They end up missing. It cost him that game in the series. He doesn't. He's afraid of the moment, and I believe he's honestly scared to go back and play in front of the Philly fans because Jeff, we all know how bad Philly fans can be. So
Oh yeah.
they are one of the worst fan bases as far as being so mean, I guess you would say, to their own team.
They're a
If you,
passionate group. They're
yes,
Philly fans are a passionate group, they're nice people and stuff. And I think that they're avid sports fans, and that's kind of what makes that fan base in general unique. Whether it's basketball, football. I mean, obviously that's a big, huge football town. And even whenever they were the Phillies were also part of the World Series like that. Their fans
right,
were very avid.
right. I mean, well, look at Bryce Harper. He goes over to the Phillies, and he's been a Dallas Cowboy fan all his life, and he had to come out and say, I'm an Eagles fan now. I'm not going to root for the Cowboys." So it is a city that has high expectations for their teams, even though, I mean, they might kill me here, Jeff. They haven't, and their city hasn't won anything in a long while. The Eagles actually did win Super Bowl a couple years ago. Obviously, I remember that. It was their first one, but now the Eagles are really bad, and you got the 76ers who are, uh, I mean, they're a good basketball team and they make the playoffs, but are they really championship contenders? I don't know. So, and then the Phillies are the Phillies, and they don't really win much. They haven't won, they haven't won in a little while. So they
Yeah.
have they have a little bit of a drought going on for most of their teams. I think the Eagles did win, but that team just exploded there in Philly. Uh, uh, you know, so it would be we talked about this a little bit over the offseason, and to me it would be mind blowing if he ever played another game for them. So they actually, I mean, his teammates wanted to come out there and visit him, and he said, "Don't bother me. I'm not. Don't waste your time. I'm not doing it." Well, they ended up talking Ben Simmons to come back to practice as the NBA has started, and his first practice, he gets kicked out by the coach. for refusing to sub into practice. They wanted to sub him in. He refused to do it, and he got suspended 1 game for conduct detrimental to the team. So it's becoming toxic, right? He's refusing to get out there and play with his teammates. You have your star Joel Embiid. He came out the other day, said, "Look, I'm not your babysitter. Ben's gonna do what he's gonna do. I'm not a babysitter." I just saw before we started the show a um a message that said, "Hey, that Embiid came out and said Ben is still our brother. We need to support him." I think that's probably pressure from upper management to say, "Hey, you have got to show some support for Ben Simmons because we've got to try and get this to turn around." He left the facility on Thursday. He came in Thursday and they cleared him physically to play. But he left anyways and said that he's not mentally healthy enough. So Philly's got a big issue here. They've got to get somebody for him because Ben Simmons is getting paid to be a superstar that's refusing to play for your team. And the owner of the team said, "Buckle up your seatbelts because we are in no hurry to trade Ben Simmons."
I mean, it seems like this is kind of a drama already, day one, possibly even before that. Um, and it's just, eventually somebody's going to have to pull the trigger on something, whether it be a trade, something. You can't have a sports player of his caliber upset, maybe even possibly getting other teammates involved to also, you know, it just seems like drama.
Oh
And
yeah.
that goes it's the worst. Like we talked about that last week. And I think that just drama on a team is the last thing anybody wants, and it just creates bad morale on any sports team.
Right.
Basketball, baseball, football, doesn't matter. And so I mean Cowboy fans know this of Terrell Owens and stuff. So it's just, it creates issues, and it's interesting to know maybe what team he might be on. Is that any kind of speculation as to if they tried? Because I mean, eventually something's going to give. I know that maybe is he on a no trade clause or
Um, I'm not sure if he's on a no trade clause, but usually in the NBA, the player has the power, right? And that's out of all sports, the NBA, the player really, if they want out, they get to go where they want, really. Now, I really think if he doesn't show up and play at all, that trade value's got to be dropping. Um,
yeah?
he's owed a lot of money still. They're actually fining him for missing practices. Um, but I read something earlier that said that actually that money is protected as for the player, but there was also a clause saying that if the team is actually offering all this stuff, like he's claiming he's not mental healthy enough. So mental health, if they're actually out there saying, "Hey, okay, well, come see our guys, come get it right," and then they say they are, then I think they can fine him and take money. I'm not sure how that works, but something's got to give. When this is the same situation as kind of Deshaun Watson, you have a guy you're paying high amount of money on, right? Um, and we'll get into him in a little bit in the headlines of the week. And he's toxic. He's not practicing. He's not playing. And Ben Simmons is there refusing to play. We just started NBA basketball, and then when you talk about toxicity in the locker room, it can create storylines that aren't even there, right? So when I look at Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers over the off season and all that drama, any little loss, any little bad look a Rodgers gives a teammate, any little of this or little of that, you're going to get these storylines that pop out. That might not be true, but because we've already have an expectation, or we already have that planted in our mind, we're looking for extra things. So that's what it could do too. Um,
Now I remember there was some issues during the playoffs with him. Was it him just not giving his all? Was it just was there an issue
oh,
with
Ben
him in the
Simmons,
playoff? Yes.
it he doesn't like the spotlight.
Okay.
He's scared of it. He has a worse free throw percentage than Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, wow, okay.
That's bad. That's like
Oh,
he
man.
he doesn't take those pressured shots. Now, look, he's kind of weird because I feel like I'm bashing him here as a football or as a basketball player. And look, he's a good basketball player. Is he a superstar? No, he's getting paid like one. That's the problem. That's one of the problems here too.
Right.
He's a good number two or a good number. He's a great, fantastic number three. He could be a good number two. We talked about a trade last week, I believe. The Nets actually asked, "Hey, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving's kind of a wild card." This is before the whole COVID and not getting the vaccination. Um, should we trade him? Can we trade him for Ben Simmons? And that would be a perfect spot for him. Ben Simmons needs to go to a team where he can help facilitate because he does have the ball in his hand a lot. He does score points, some points. Not he's not here scoring 35 a game or anything. He puts up points. He plays really good defense. He facilitates your offense. He needs a team where he can go that other players will take those shots when it matters. The Nets would be perfect for that. The Lakers would be perfect for that. But the ball in his hands in late game situations is where he kind of freezes up. And that's exactly why I think playing in Philly, he's going to, if he ever steps on court for the 76ers this year, first I'll be surprised. But he's going to get booed. And him mentally, not already saying he's not mentally strong enough or healthy enough, which I kind of think is a cop out. And right now, I don't know. I know that's kind of taboo to say, but right now, he's kind of using it to not play, not practice, not be a part of the team. He's wanting to force his way out. And the 76ers are actually the first team that I've seen in basketball that's really said, "No, you're going to show up when you're going to play."
Yeah.
James Harden, he wanted to go to the Nets, and he was with the Nets. LeBron James leaves the team, um, whenever. Well, usually his contract's up, but Anthony Davis forced his way out of there. So if a
Right.
guy wants out in the NBA, he gets it because
Mhm.
they're protected a lot. So
And I could definitely see him going, especially if the spotlight's an issue, which some players are like that. That's
mhm,
just it. It's not a problem. It's not like it's an issue because some players just can't handle it. And going to a team where they're not necessarily. I mean, we saw it with Zach Greinke. I think he went to Houston,
yeah,
uh, and he wasn't the spotlight. It was Verlander, and he thrived. So
right,
I think that if you have a player who doesn't necessarily have to worry about being the number one guy, I mean, LA would be a good one, and obviously the Nets. So, and the
right.
Nets obviously are looking for something because they're having a Kyrie situation. So,
They're always having a Kyrie situation. Whoever's team Kyrie goes to, they're having a Kyrie situation. And it's funny because to bringing up that star, Joey Gallo is that way in MLB. He doesn't prefer the spotlight. He actually here in Texas, he was our best hitter. They wanted him to bat number three in the lineup, and he didn't want to because he didn't want that pressure on him. And some guys are like that. Um, and it's fine when it's in the background, but when it comes into actual playoff games and it's shown, and that's when it becomes an issue, and that's when people start asking those questions. And my biggest thing with Ben Simmons is why hasn't he worked on this stuff? Why has he not? That's my biggest negative thing about Ben Simmons. The great basketball players, Kobe Bryant, Dirk Nowitzki, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, they've when they're trying to get better, they look at, okay, what do I not do to so good? Well, free throws for one, start with those, and you find different ways to change because people are going to start knowing your moves, and you've got to find different ways and different things to do on the court or the field. This is kind of any sport, right? You talk about the defense learning the quarterback or whatever. That's what the greats do. And Ben
yeah,
Simmons, I don't think is willing to put in the time to learn and do those other things. And that's also, I believe, an issue too. And I feel bad because I really like Joel Embiid. I think he's a fantastic basketball player. I think he would die on the court. He is literally a guy that will do that and give it his all. And I feel like he deserves someone better than Ben Simmons, who doesn't seem like maybe he's giving it his all and doing what he can do to help this team win.
yeah. You don't want to see anybody waste a career because somebody else on the team is causing some issues. So, I think Joel Embiid is definitely looking for something, and Hopefully they put a package together some point and get something for him. You know,
They need
uh,
to do it. What are they my question too is what are they waiting on? Right? This needs to happen sooner than later. You talk about a guy coming in here and in basketball, when there's only 5 people on the court, you have to have that team chemistry. I think it's one of those things that's very, very important. And you want guys get them in here now. The season's already started with 2 games into it, I believe, tonight. But get him in. Find something. And I know trading him for nothing isn't going to do anything, but there's somebody that's going to be willing to give you something for Ben Simmons and make it work. And Daryl Morey, he did good things in Houston. He did really good things in Houston and getting the guys, getting players around James Harden and that. So now he's coaching the 70 or he's up there running the 76ers. They got a good coach. Figure it
yeah, I
out.
like their
Figure it
coach.
out.
I
Yeah.
like their coach.
Just they've got to figure it out sooner than later, and waiting till later is not an optimal time to help your team win.
Yeah, and this was a narrative even last season
Mhm.
with the playoffs and everything, and I think I'm pretty sure it was Doc Rivers, right? He's the one who's coaching the team.
Yeah.
I think it was just Doc Rivers was kind of brushing under the rug, but he also did
Well,
something really good. I don't remember. He kind of said like we still back him. We're still his.
one of the big storylines is after and when they lost in the playoffs, they asked the coach a question of, "Can this team win a championship with Ben Simmons as your point guard?" And his answer was, "I don't know."
Okay, I
So
wasn't
that
sure
was
if he
that was not good. I think it really kind of
was that when they were eliminated, or was that
that
after?
was yeah, that was when they were eliminated, and
Okay,
that was after they blew they blew they had the lead in the playoffs, and they ended up blowing it.
yeah,
And Doc Rivers, unfortunately, is famous. That's what he's famous for. That's what he'll be known for. He's blown the most three nothing or 3-1 series leads in the history of the NBA. Unfortunately for him,
yeah.
but I do think he's a good coach.
I think he's a good
But
coach too.
But what he said there really, I think, kind of wedged, put a little cherry on top of what kind of Ben Simmons is wanting out. And actually, Doc Rivers has actually gone back and said, "Y'all took that out of context. That's not what I meant." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
It's a lot of right now. It's a lot of butt kissing to try and say Ben Simmons, but I don't think he is, and I don't think he really hates his teammates.
that's probably possible. Yeah, because they're definitely gonna be vocal.
Oh yeah,
You see, there's a few couple fan bases that are definitely gonna show you what they feel and not hide it, no matter who you are. And
right.
one of them is New York, and another one is Philly, and Boston is one too. So
Boston could be that way. All right, Jeff, that is going to end it for the spotlight of the week. That was a really good conversation there. So this is on me. We usually give you the top games of next week, then this coming up week, and I've kind of slacked on that, so that was my bad. So, but I went and looked at them this week. Jeff, we've got some really bad football games this week. I usually give you 5, and I usually have a hard time finding those 5. I found 2 games this week that's really worth watching, and I was like, that is it. We got the Chiefs at the Titans. Um, the Titans just came off a fantastic win. They just beat Buffalo, and that was a surprising win. And they wouldn't have won if Allen didn't slip down at the 1 yard line and not make that game winning touchdown. But
yeah,
um, this one should be good as long as the Titans that just showed up show up, and they're inconsistent at times with this team, but they're what they're 5-2. So they have a really good record. They're a team that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. The Chiefs have struggled a little lately. Patrick Mahomes is throwing those interceptions. I've got the Titans winning this one at home with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry having a really good football game. Jeff, who do you got?
man. I don't trust the Chiefs' defense. I think that their defense is going to be suspect all year. It's pretty. It's. I mean, they've kind of proven that at this point. Yeah, man. Running the ball effectively will control the clock and time of possession. Controlling the time of possession
It's
with the
huge.
Chiefs is
It's huge.
basically getting rid of Mahomes. get rid of Mahomes, less time on the field. Titans win. I'm gonna go with the Titans on this one. I think that it makes total sense, just because Tennessee can control that clock.
Derrick Henry's a beast, man. He's over
Yeah,
700 something yards already,
yeah.
and whoo, it's insane. He's actually he has 768 yards, and then he has after contact, he has 587 yards after first contact, which is second in the NFL in yardage. So he's like number one and number two. They were kind of talking about that the other day. I posted on TikTok. So it's actually like, man, he is on pace right now for it was 28 touchdowns. It was 2,219 yards and over like 450 something touches. Now,
Jeez.
will this continue? I don't know. With those amount of touches, he's liable to get hurt. But
Yeah,
he's
he's
their
pretty tanky though, man. He's
oh
he's he's kind of he's a tanky guy, and typically, I mean, I would say if you got a running back that's real, built, uh, I don't think they're going to get hurt as much. I think I mean, there's possibility they will get hurt, but
yeah.
for the most part, I don't. I think they're pretty solid.
All right, Jeff. The second game I found this week that's going to be really good is the Bengals at Baltimore, and Baltimore's been red hot. Okay, I have I think I talked about it on Tuesday, or it was actually Wednesdays this week. But I've got to start respecting Lamar Jackson, and I've gave him a lot of disrespect about him not throwing the ball,
I think we
and
both
him,
have.
and yeah,
Yeah.
and so far he's proved that that's wrong this year, right? He's come out and he's running the ball effectively. He's thrown the ball effectively. He threw, no offense, Jeff, but he threw over 300 something yards against Denver. When they're making him stop rushing the ball, he couldn't beat you with his arm. I didn't think this year he's proved us wrong.
Hmm.
Um, they just came back against the Colts. They scored 16 points in the fourth quarter when Lamar first started. If they were down, they weren't coming back.
Yeah.
I saying all this about Baltimore. I'm actually picking the Bengals to win this game. I really like Joe Burrow. I really like what this defense is done so far this year. They've been pretty good. Jamar Chase is a beast. This rushing attack is really good. I think Joe Burrow will get this job done. Now, this will be a last whoever has the ball last type of game is going to win it. Last second field goal, I believe. If Baltimore wins this game, Jeff, I will pick them to win the rest of the I will pick them to win the rest of the regular season because I've been disrespecting them too much. Just too much.
I get it. Um, I completely get it. I think that when man, I wonder if they've changed the scheme for Lamar. I don't know if maybe they're doing a lot of uh kind of trickery, you would say, to throw off defenses, maybe throwing off the look, throwing off something, to kind of mask if they're going to run or not. And that's cool, and I think that's good, but it seems to me it's not like Lamar Jackson. He's good, playing great. I'm not taking anything away, but it's not like you just randomly figured it out. And I think something is being done to confuse defenses, and you got to give it to Harbaugh, and them coming up with schemes to maybe throw off defenses. And I think maybe that what we're seeing here, to kind of it's throw another trick in the play kind of thing, and it's working. Whatever they're doing, it's working.
It is working.
Teams are going up against a run. They're trying to stop the run, which they are. But I think because teams are expecting the run, they're doing these kind of maneuvers to throw defenses off, and obviously defenses haven't picked up on it yet.
Right, and a
So
good offense will change that up.
yeah,
With
Especially
Baltimore,
especially OC, a good OC is definitely gonna be
right?
like, "Okay, they figured us out, now we need to change something," and like, good on them. It's a
Yeah,
well-coached team. I mean, the Broncos went in there with a scheme to shut down the run, they did,
Lamar, yeah.
and that was it, you know, so
And I've always figured that Lamar's skill set lacked him to be able to do other things so that they were kind of limited of what they could do offensively. And I think they're starting to open up more of those things that they didn't think Lamar could do and trusting him some more. He's got the same offensive coordinator, Greg Roman. So, yeah, kudos to this coaching staff figuring out maybe unlocking more of his throwing the ball abilities. But they're looking really good, and they've always had a really good defense. And when you've got those combinations, you're set up for success. And you're going to have those games like they had against the Lions, right? Where they won on a 66-yard lucky field goal. Every team has that game. Every teams have those games where they don't win as much as they should, or they almost lose to a bad team, but they get the job done. And kudos to Baltimore. They're getting it done. I like the Bengals. I am a little biased. I do like Joe Burrow really, really much, really a lot. But I could see this game going 50-50. I just like the Bengals in this one.
I'll go opposite on this. I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I think Baltimore defensively is something to be reckoned with. Obviously, my team had problems with them the whole game. They stopped the run. They confused. They basically clogged up the lanes to run whatsoever, and then they obviously were able to get to the quarterbacks pretty easily. So, and I'm not saying the Broncos have a great offensive line. It's okay, but it's not perfect. And so it's just like I think if they can get to Burrow, it's going to cause some problems, and if that happens early, it's going to be a very long game for Joe Burrow. I do think it's going to be close. I don't think Baltimore's team is going to just blow people out. I
Right. They like to run the ball too,
they
and
like to run, they like to
mhm.
control the clock, they like to, so I think this team is it's going to be a low scoring game, but I do pick Baltimore to beat them by I say 10.
Okay. I can see it happen. Like I said, Baltimore's tough, and I put a lot of disrespect on them, but we'll see this weekend, Jeff. Something that broke this week as the trade deadline is actually November 2nd, which I thought was kind of soon for the NFL. Trade talks continue heating up between the Houston Texans and Miami Dolphins and Deshaun Watson. Now, um, the head coach Brian Flores down there in Miami says Tua Tagovailoa is our quarterback. But what else is he supposed to say? This trade hasn't happened yet. Um, or it might not happen, but it hasn't happened yet. So of course he's got to put faith in his quarterback, obviously. Would you, Jeff, if you're Miami, would you trade for Deshaun Watson?
It's tough because I don't know. In order to really do a trade, you need to know what's going to happen right now. And if you look at it and go, okay, look, here's what's going to happen. He's probably going to get suspended for a year. Okay. Okay. At least they know. If it's an unknown and it's like, we don't know yet, I'm not pulling trigger on anything right now. Mainly because you got to know what's going on with it. You got to know if there's going to be anything that comes out of this. And if not, and just say, hey, this is just a lot of these are allegations, something happened that was kind of not right, but he apologized for it or whatever, and he's gonna formally apologize, and the NFL is gonna probably suspend him for a year, and that's that. Then I think maybe the Dolphins have the ability to make the trade happen. They need it desperately. He wants to go there, too. It seems like. So there were two places. There were Denver and there was Miami. Denver's not going to touch controversy. They're not an organization that typically does. And whenever that happens, they will get rid of someone. It doesn't matter who it is. We got rid of a quarterback because of that. We got rid of a coach because of that, and Josh McDaniels. So, um, man, I think Miami needs it. It just comes at a cost.
Jeff, if I'm Miami, I'm throwing everything to get this guy. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care suspension. I don't care whatever the cost may be. Miami hasn't been good since Dan Marino. Let's not kid ourselves. They haven't had a quarterback since Dan Marino where you're like, okay, this guy's it. Tua is not the answer in Miami. He's not. We got a lot of question marks about him. I don't even know. And what I feel more comfortable with this trade is I don't think Houston would want Tua. I think Tua would still be on the team. Or if they trade Tua away, you still got Jacoby Brissett who can play that year while Deshaun Watson's out. You trade everything for Deshaun Watson. This guy is a top 5 quarterback when he plays the game.
Yeah,
When he was playing, he's top 5 quarterback.
yeah, and I think no, I'm not denying that. I think
No,
that what will the price be? What
right.
will the price be?
You're looking at 2 or 3 first round picks. You're probably looking. They're I don't know that. I think the first original asking price was 3 ones, 2 twos, and 2 threes. That's a lot. But with him being on the payroll, not playing, I think that they've actually they said a couple months ago that the asking price has gone down to what we don't know.
Okay.
2 first round picks, a starting player, and something else. I think with a second round or third round, maybe 2 ones, 2 twos, and a starting some caliber of a player will get it done. What my question is, Miami hasn't been good in so long. What do they have to lose?
They don't.
Exactly. You throw it all out, and if Deshaun Watson comes and they go to play him and they say the NFL says, hey, now we're going to suspend you for a year or suspend you the rest of the season or whatever they do. So what?
But not only do they have nothing to lose, but ultimately they're not a franchise that is too worried about image. Maybe. And not to say that they aren't, but I think if you have a controversial character, this isn't like it's New
See,
England. This isn't like it's, Green
Green Bay
Bay.
don't touch
Yeah.
people like that.
Uh,
Now,
Denver, these kinds of organizations that are like, you know what, we want our image to still be good.
right.
And I think Miami is like, yeah, well, let's try.
Well, look,
So
this is something that's a tough conversation to have with a lot of people, right? I actually put this out on Facebook the other day and I got a couple responses and they sounded like he's a scumbag. And I said, "Well, look, you've got to think of it this way. We're thinking of it as a human being to human being, morals on the line here, character. And character is something that you're, especially Deshaun Watson's a leader, going to be a leader, right?
mhm.
You want. Has he been proven guilty of anything?
No.
Can he be? I mean, he could be. He hasn't. It's all up in the air. We don't know what happened.
Yeah.
The only thing we know is he's been alleged to do these things, and we don't know all exactly of those things he's been alleged by so many amount of women. Now, I'm not
Yeah.
here to sit here and tell you that Deshaun Watson's innocent or guilty, but as a general manager of a multi-million-dollar company, it is your job to set those morals aside sometimes and make the tough decisions on bringing guys in to win. You hear Jerry Jones say it all the time, right? I would write him any amount of check to win a Super Bowl. Now, I don't know if you believe that. I don't. But
Well, you can't in the NFL.
yeah. Well, yeah, you can't.
And he's
But
the reason, but okay.
true. If I'm Miami, I'm going, what else do we have to lose? We haven't been good. Worse, and he's only 25. He's young. He
Yeah.
can afford another
Extremely.
year off. My question is, if he's suspended for a year, the NFL to me, if they suspend him for a year, they have to have actual evidence of something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
right now, we just don't. And
Because
he's
the player association is not going to allow that if there's no evidence.
yeah,
He's going to immediately go to the player association and they're going to have a problem.
they could appeal that and maybe win.
Yeah.
I just as an organization that hasn't won anything,
Right.
as an organization where
Based off talent alone.
yeah, they have a good defense.
Yeah.
They've got good wide receivers. Two is not the answer. I'm not saying he's terrible. He's not the answer. Jacoby Brissett's not the answer. You've got I think, a fantastic head coach there. Go for it. And if Deshaun Watson gets traded and he can play in 2 weeks, more. That's awesome. You got to also think about this too, Jeff. Who ran that division forever? Tom Brady, Bill
Mhm.
Belichick. Well,
It
Bill
would
Belichick,
completely change that and
yes.
tip it over into
The
the opposite direction.
the Bills are going to win this division this season. Miami needs to step up, get Deshaun Watson, and take their shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Based off talent and without any of us knowing anything, which we still don't know everything. We still don't even
Exactly.
really know. It's obviously an investigation and they're keeping it hush hush. And I get it. I get it. Innocent until proven guilty. I get that. So, but until then, we can't make any speculations because we really don't know everything. We don't know all the information. We don't have the NFL hasn't really come out and given us anything to go off of. And really it's all about what we've heard so far. And we haven't really heard a whole lot coming out since everything.
Exactly. And
We
the
know
NFL not doing something
everything that
about
we
it.
know up until this point has been given to us months ago.
Yeah. Well, and everything, the NFL not doing anything about this or stepping in and saying something about what kind of punishment we're looking at, if he's going to be punished at all, is really hindered it too. Um, I think they've done Deshaun Watson actually a disservice by not saying if he's found guilty or whatever, this is what we're going to do. So that's also hindering this as well.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. That I knew we're gonna have some good conversations this one, and this one should be pretty good too. So, Dak Prescott just put up more passing yards on a Bill Belichick ran defense than anybody in the history. Cowboys actually put up more total yards on a Bill Belichick ran defense in the NFL history. Dak Prescott is now third in line for the best odds to win MVP. Diggs has a 7th interception already. This guy is just picking off the ball left and right. My question to you, Jeff, is one, how legit are the Cowboys? And two, where do they rank in the NFC right now? If you had to put them somewhere,
Dead
where
last. I'm
would
kidding.
you put them?
Oh, finally, the Cowboys have gotten a good team. Well, they've had good teams, but they just haven't done anything with them. Obviously, they're first in their division. That's no doubt. There's no doubt about that. That's not even an argument. In the NFC as a whole,
In the NFC as a whole,
where would I put them?
where would you put them? Right now, I'm not talking about what you think is
4.
going to happen in the future.
I would put them 4th, maybe 3rd, maybe.
Well, I'll give you my list real quick.
Of my top 4.
Your top five. I put a top five in there of the NFC because that's going to be your playoffs. If the playoffs started now, that
Okay.
would be your playoffs. You would add the wild cards, but I mean,
Cardinals,
okay,
Rams,
okay,
Green Bay,
okay,
Cowboys,
okay.
and okay, and then you got Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
So, in terms of ranking, I would put Tampa Bay and then Cowboys.
Okay, that's
So
interesting.
Cowboys 5, Tampa Bay 4, Green Bay 3rd, Rams 2nd, 1st, Cardinals. If you had to go off of right now. Right
That's
now.
interesting. Okay, okay. Well, I'm going to give you my list. My list might shock you. Okay, I got the Cardinals number one. Okay, they're 6-0, good team. They've shocked a lot of people this year, and actually, Green Bay plays them next Thursday night.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah, in Arizona. So I got the Rams number 2. Okay, Matthew Stafford, offense is killing it. The defense is killing it. They've had a couple off games, but they all have. Dallas Cowboys number 3. They are 5-1. They are average. They have the number 1 offense in the NFL. They average the most points per game at 34 points a game. They are averaging the most yards of offense per game. They average 460 yards.
Mhm.
That is insane. 34 points a game. That is insane. I know it's 6 games in.
It
Green
is.
Bay Green Bay averaged 30,
Second least
32 last year.
competitive schedule in the NFL.
I do. They do
Yeah.
have that. They do have that. They also have an easy division.
Mhm.
I have the Buccaneers number 4, and I have Green Bay number 5. I think this Cowboys team is the most legit Cowboys team I've seen. And now, don't kill me, guys. I wasn't here in the heyday when you won all your Super Bowls in the 90s. Okay.
Well, you were, but you weren't paying attention.
I wasn't paying attention to the Dallas Cowboys or, you know, I was born in '88. Okay. I'm not old enough to remember the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowls. This is the most legit team I've seen for Dallas. I'm surprised. I really am, and I say that because you look at last season, how this was the worst defense the Cowboys have ever had in the history of Dallas Cowboy football. They broke records on how bad they were. They hired Dan Quinn, and everything's kind of changed. Now, look, I get it. They're not number one. They're not a top 10 defense. They give up yards, but here's what I'm labeling the Dallas Cowboys defense, Jeff. They're opportunistic.
Mhm.
They are very, and that Diggs, everyone wants to say he's the best in the league. Okay, he's not. He's not the best in the league. Okay, don't. He's not a shutdown corner. A shutdown corner means they're not throwing on you. Okay, you're not throwing on Jalen Ramsey. They shut down a side of the field, or they shut down your best wide receiver, or they're not throwing on a a Dame, or was it Howard, Xavier Howard. They're not throwing on a J.R. Alexander. They do throw on Diggs. He does give up yards, but you miss up one time and that ball's picked. You mess up and they take those opportunities to pick off the ball. Diggs is a fantastic player. This is year 2. I think he's a star for them. He will continue to get better. They're doing this injured. Their best defensive pass rusher, Demarcus Lawrence, is not even playing. Um, they're missing some other key players as well. My big thing though is this offense. We got Dak Prescott, who is a right now he's a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. Top 5 if you want to put him there. Below, he's playing lights out. My gold star, though, if you have to give a gold star to someone, is Kellen Moore. This offense is fantastic. Um, Romo broke it down the last game they played and showed you what he was doing. That was great. And confusing the Patriots, confusing Bill Belichick. Um, they're stacked, and this offense is stacked. You got Zeke Elliott's playing really well this year. Pollard's playing great this year. You got an offensive line that's when healthy is one of the best in the NFL so far this year. They've got 2 wide receivers that are unguardable just about. Their third wide receiver is out, and when he's on the field, good luck. I mean, I know things happen. I
Mhm.
know we've seen 2 games and where the Chargers probably should have won that game. The Patriots probably should have won that game. And the things that we've seen in the past from Dallas, Jeff, where you said they get in their own way, that we've seen that plenty of times. It
Yeah.
seems like that has changed a little bit, where those things that could have cost them the game, they somehow turn it around and win. And last year when Dak Prescott played, he was throwing 400 yards a game and they were losing. Why? Because they were behind in games. They were throwing the ball so much to catch up. Now they're
Right.
ahead and they're winning these games and they
Right.
look
Which
fantastic.
bleeds into defense. Defense is going to play better if you're ahead. Period. Defense will always play better when you're ahead. So if the
Mhm.
Cowboys start out and they score a touchdown, they're already up. Defense is going to play better. They score another touchdown. It just continues that way. Defense can relax a little bit. They can play a lot more aggressive. Um, and maybe and not just aggressive up front, but at least and then also kind of let back a little bit as well because the lead is already there. But here's the deal. This is my thing about the Cowboys. I get it. It's you're you got some I would say a couple of competitors in this entire schedule. And I say a couple because Tampa Bay was obviously their defense was completely I don't know. Uh, they had some injuries on defense in game 1. It's pretty and so I think going into that game, they weren't really that healthy and on defense. Tom Brady was Tom Brady, and that's why they lost. But, ultimately, if the Cardinals destroy this team, the Cowboys are not getting past the Cardinals in the playoffs. It's not gonna happen. If
Well, things
the
change in the playoffs, but
Right, but if the Browns defense destroys this team and they run against this team effectively against the Cowboys, this is that's going to be somebody that potentially facing in the Super Bowl if you go to the Super Bowl. So it's just you got to understand like once you start getting into these big tough teams, and I would even say the Cardinals are better than Tampa Bay. You know, right now the Cardinals are better than Tampa Bay.
yes.
That is a scary team that you will face at some point, and it's going to be a do or die game. And you know, and then you got Green Bay, which has schooled you every time he's been on. Aaron Rodgers has owned this Cowboy team for years. Years. Do you trust this defense against Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. I don't know. Like Aaron Rodgers has
I
shown.
would not trust this defense against Aaron Rodgers. I don't
S-
trust my defense to stop the Cowboys
Right,
offense.
right. And that would be a gunslinging game. And I think whoever has that if you give Aaron Rodgers even 30 seconds, he's shown he can pretty much destroy that team.
Yep. Um,
So it's just, you know, I think right now, sure, the Cowboys are great. The fans are on level a million.
yes,
They're
they
already
are.
at the moon. They're getting ready to go to Mars. Um, you know, so you know they're riding high, and I get it. If my team was had that record, I'd be riding high too, probably. But I wouldn't get too
Well, that's the difference.
high.
You know, the it's been a long time since the Cowboys have
I
been here, Chris.
get it, I get it, but you get so hyped already. I get texts from my dad, okay?
Yeah, your dad's one of those
And
annoying Cowboy fans, Chris, right?
he's just, like, rubbing it in. I'm like, "It's too early." Like, I get you're happy, but don't start trashing my team, then talking trash. Like, it's just kinda like, "Dude, come on," because you know when something happens, I will not hold back because you didn't hold back. So but then what he does is he turns his phone off.
Oh,
And I'm
because
like, "See, you can't if you
they
can't
can't
handle
handle
it."
it. Yeah.
Yeah, like, so it's just
That's when you blow him his phone up with 40 billion messages and he has to when he turns it back on.
yeah. So
No,
it's just
they're
so I get it, I get it, I get it. The Cowboys are doing good right now, but as most people in the sports world will look at, they have not been successful in 25 years. Let's not argue that. This team has won how many playoff games in 15 years? A
2,
couple?
I think.
So, yeah, 2. So get past these massive teams. You beat the Cardinals, then we got something. Beat the Cardinals.
I you know, I can see that. I can no, I can no, I can definitely see both sides, and I can see where you're saying, like, beat a good team
Mm.
or showed up. Now, they don't
Or
control
make
their
it competitive. If they even made it competitive against the Cardinals, I would be shocked. I would be like, "Okay, Cowboys
nah,
are here."
they'll make it competitive. They'll make it
Okay.
competitive. Will they beat them? I don't know. I,
The
look,
Cardinals have been
the
shocking
schedule
everybody,
the schedule is the
blowing
schedule,
people out.
okay? The schedule is the schedule, they can't control that.
I know
Green
that.
Green Bay has the 4th toughest schedule in the NFL, and I'm looking at it going, "Oh my gosh, dude, how are we going to make it?" Um, but, well, we're gonna make it because we have Aaron Rodgers, but that's
I
besides the
just I
point.
look at schedules and it's like if you have a competitive schedule, it sets you up better for the playoffs. And I know starting out, like here's the deal. Would you rather start out strong or end the season strong? A lot of people don't really know how to answer that question because it's like riding hot at the end, I think is what
Oh, you
sets
wanna
up.
ride it hot at the end. If
Oh
you
yeah.
that's all there is. I mean, Tampa Bay, they didn't start off very good at all last year, and
No.
they got on fire, and
Same thing as this
that
year.
was it.
They were struggling a little bit. Now people are like, once they get all these people back, how big will this team be at the end? And I'm like, well, I could see them really busting out at the end. And then if that happens, Tampa Bay's in the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs. They're going to be the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's Tom Brady playoff time, and that's scary. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I just had to ask that question, Jeff, because I think they're pretty legit. I do think this
I
team
think they're
is.
legit, but I think it's very competitive in the NFC.
Oh
It's
yeah.
extremely competitive. There's a lot of good teams. This isn't like
Well,
before where it was kind of like, a couple, you know.
and they talk about Diggs and interceptions are a fluky stat to go off of.
Some get bobbled, some get tipped.
Statistically, he cannot keep this pace up.
No.
If he keeps this pace up and continues, it'll be the best season by a cornerback in the history of the NFL that's ever
Right.
played.
Right.
That's just not going to happen.
No.
So Diggs is a great player, not a shutdown corner yet. He has
I mean, if you
potential.
if
He
you
has
break
potential to
down
be.
if you break down the competitive nature of the schedule they've done so far, Chargers, Tampa Bay, right? To this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
So they lost Tampa Bay close, and they beat the Chargers, which I think was pretty close. I don't think it was
Yeah,
a blowout.
no, it was close.
Okay.
And that's funny because Tampa Bay should have lost that game.
Yeah.
Cowboys shot themselves in the foot, and then the other one, the Chargers should have won that game, and they
Yep.
shot themselves in the foot. So, and then they played their division, and their
Yeah.
division's trash.
Yeah. That's not even an argument.
No. So, look, am I sitting here saying they've come out and beaten all these main teams? No. They've showed up and played the teams, and they beat the teams they were supposed to
And that's
by a
good.
large margin.
That's different than before.
Yes, because the Cowboys would come out and play the Giants. You're like, oh, the Cowboys are going to win easily. And next thing you know, they lose by 3. And you're going, what in the world? So that's what I'm saying. These things that we've seen happen to them in the last 25 years, they've seemed to kind of change it around. I don't know if it's a mindset. I don't know if it's something being coached, not by McCarthy because he doesn't really coach much. But Kellen Moore is the guy you need to think there in this offense. And then the defense from Dan Quinn has turned this around. But I digress because we need to get into the other topics here, Jeff. And that segment does go out to Ryan Sims and Eric Stone. Okay, they blew up because our podcast episode came out a little late last week, and they watched it or listened to it after the Cowboy game, and they were like, "There's no Cowboy talk on this. I can't." And I'm like, "Wait, that's coming up on this episode. Don't you fret. That's for you guys."
Oh.
All right, Jeff. This surprised a lot of people that happened this week is LSU and head coach Ed Orgeron have agreed to part ways at the end of the season, and this shocked me. Ed Orgeron has just he won a title with Joe Burrow in 2019. He's been pretty good. The last couple of years have not been so well. He was 5-5 during last year's COVID season, and I think they're like 9-7 or something like that this year. Some bad record. And it's not just that LSU's being, these colleges are playing this off as we hold ourselves to a high standard, and he has not met that, and we're going to let him go. This was from what I've read and what I've looked up on, researched, and heard stories. This is a situation that Ed Orgeron doesn't want to be there anymore. The LSU uh, doesn't want him to be there anymore, and these players don't want to play for him anymore. And it's weird to see a guy go from winning. He won the job in 2016. He was interim head coach. He won the job over. He got this team to a national championship. They've been successful. To have this all of a sudden be to sit here and say, after coming off 2 years, and sit here and say, he hasn't been successful enough. Our expectations are higher, and it's only because of that. There's something going on else behind the scenes. This reminds me of the Philadelphia Eagles. They won a Super Bowl, and 2 years later, the whole team's dismantled. The coach is fired, quarterback's gone. So it's a very strange, interesting debacle, if we want to call it, situation down there in the Bayou.
it's this is one of those teams that that is just kind of uh, they're a big one. A lot of people pay attention to LSU. LSU's a big campus. They got a lot of talent football wise. A lot of talent comes out of that organization. Um, it's weird to see controversy going on, and really college just started too. So it's just, I mean, they're in the midst of their season. Um, it's just kind of odd. It's not. It seems like it's gonna maybe affect players. Um,
Well, what's weird to me is that they want him out of here, and they say they're not too happy with him because of his activity and his outbursts and this and that. Why are you remaining to keep him on your team for the rest of the season? To me, that's just what do these players have to play for anymore, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Why show up? Why give it your all? I mean, I guess those seniors that really want to go to the
well,
to
yeah,
and
that's
that
really what's gonna make it is because people wanna go get drafted. I mean, this is gonna affect if they don't play, I mean, it's gonna affect their draft seeding.
I mean,
Not to say that the draft's gonna be very exciting this year, because I think maybe right, and not quarterback wise, we're not gonna see that, but it doesn't mean these guys, I mean, they're playing for a career,
yeah.
you know?
And you can see players left and right entering that transfer portal and trying to find somewhere
That's
else to
possible.
go.
That's very possible.
It's just a weird situation. And yeah, speaking, you brought up the quarterback situation here and the coming out this year in college. There's not a lot of guys. And Spencer Radler, who was supposed to be a guy to go, has been struggling this season. He actually got benched in the Texas uh, OU game, and the other quarterback came in and brought him all the way back and won, and now he's starting. So Spencer Rattler to be going into the NFL this year, this next season, apparently, to be benched this season, that's not a good look. So
Yeah.
I could see him entering the portal if he's not going to start and trying to go somewhere else and start. So, but that's just a crazy story, and they call him Coach O, and he's a great. I mean, he's fun to listen to. Have you ever heard him talk? Uh, go, coach, go type up Coach Ed Orgeron and hear this guy talk. It's the most Louisiana Bayou talk
Oh, wow. That's
sounding
cool.
graspy. Yeah, I mean, I like his voice. He's pretty great. But all right, Jeff. Well, baseball is upon us. Well, I guess it's almost over, right? The ALCS and the NLCS is here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And going full throttle. The Astros,
Mm.
they lead their series 3-2, and they're looking to finish it tonight and go to the World Series. And I hope that the Boston Red Sox pull out a series like they did against the Yankees when they went down 3-1. They just pulled out a miracle. Jeff, we need that here. I don't want to see the Astros go, but right now they're looking like the best team in baseball, and I hate it. You got y I hate it with a passion, and, you got the Braves, they lead the Dodgers 3-2, they were up 3-1. When I saw that, I was shocked. I was, "Holy moly." I would love to see the Braves go and win this all the way. The talent they have, the young talent they have, but right now, like I said, the Astros are looking to be they're looking like the best team, and it pains me to say,
Just to give everybody a heads up, it's bottom of the 4th. Houston's up 1-0.
ugh, I hate it.
No
It makes me
outs.
sick.
And right now, obviously, we all know how Astros have 3-2 lead. So, this matchup, I could care less. I mean, I just could care less. These two teams, first of all, we already know why I don't like Boston. I don't have to express that
And
again.
if
And
for
eventually,
wait, Jeff, we may have a new audience here live streaming on YouTube. Jeff's a diehard Yankees fan, so I digress there, Jeff. Go ahead.
yeah. And then yeah, and Houston, obviously because of that, my team got messed up twice during the whole cheating thing that was going on. So yes, I'm not really much of an Astros fan either, obviously. The Red Sox one goes way back, and then Houston is recent. But these two franchises, I'm like, get whatever. Who the heck cares? Whoever faces them, I hope they destroy them. So if it's either going to be LA or it's going to be Atlanta, I could care less. But I cannot stand both these teams.
Oh
Oh
man,
man.
I hope I want Atlanta to win. They deserve one. They haven't won one in a really long time. And I remember back in the day watching Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux pitch, and they were fantastic, but they never won. And I would like to see them go. And when I started a season on MLB The Show for PlayStation 4, um, I chose the Braves to start one of my because I usually do an AL team and I'll do a National League team. I chose the Braves. They've got a lot of talent on that team and a lot of young talent. And I hope they win it all. I'm surprised that they look. Me and you last week were projected that the probably Dodgers versus Astros. So it'd be nice to see the Braves go. And if the Braves can upset the Dodgers, because it would be an upset, maybe they can go in and upset the Astros too.
That would be
So
cool. That would be cool. Yeah, and coming from a Yankee fan, I've watched the Yankees beat up Atlanta for years. During the dynasty era and stuff, we'd always somehow knock them out. And so if we could to finally see that organization win it, you know.
right, right. All right, Jeff. Well, we talked about the basketball segment earlier with Ben Simmons' situation. Basketball is back. It is fantastic to have basketball back. It kind of appeared up faster than I ever thought. And as you can see, my background here, we got the basketball goal and the gym lights. So the Bucks, the first night they played the Nets, they got a really great win to start the year against Brooklyn. Um, Westbrook struggled his first night in LA. He only had 8 points. He was 0 for 5 for the 3-point line. Mavs get boat raced against the Atlanta Hawks. What are you excited for this year, Jeff? What maybe kind of storylines kick out to you, or what are you looking forward to this season so far, or this season coming up for the NBA?
Um, I'm looking forward to seeing. I mean, I'm a Maverick fan, so I'm just wanting to see that team grow. I want to see Luca be, grow as a player, become a better player. He's still so young, and still already good, but I want to see some evolution there a little bit. I think we will. I think he will be a better player in general. And then I'd like to see like Jason Kidd mentor him a little bit. I think that's a really cool matchup, between them. I think they're a cool group to kind of see the old school player that maybe Luca probably didn't. He didn't look up to him because I think he was a huge Kobe fan. But it's interesting because we all know Kid, and so then seeing Kid mentor Luca, it's kind of cool. So and then obviously I want to see Porzingis. I want to see him become more of a better offensive player and be what he used to be. And maybe Kid allows that. Maybe whatever they draw up allows that. I'm not going to go. A lot of people have just been going off the first game, and I'm like, whatever. I'm not even going to go off that because that's ridiculous. To go off one game, I can't stand that. It's such a long season, and there's so many games. So this isn't the NFL. Like, so I'm not going to go off one game.
There's 81 games.
Yeah,
So
so I'm a number one true baseball fan, so I mean I know hold your horses. Let's get through the season, because that season's the longest of any of them.
Jeff's a
So,
champion at enduring to the end.
oh man, so yeah, like I'm excited to see see what the Mavericks can do. Other than that, it's interesting to see. Oh man, I really want to see Arizona do something. Um, it really frustrated me that they lost
Phoenix.
last season. Yeah. I want to see the Suns do something, not because I'm a Suns fan, but just Chris Paul deserves it, man. It sucks to see Chris Paul just, get thrown around and so many
Hey,
memes being made fun of him because he's full.
if they allow that trade a long time ago and he went to play with the Lakers, he would have a ring by now. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta
Well,
say.
and that's another thing. It's interesting to see how the Lakers will bounce back from really Injury
Disappointing.
injury pit
Mhm.
black pit of nothingness is what happened last year. And it just happened and snowballed and snowballed and snowballed until it got to the end.
Mhm.
Um,
We have a whole new roster this year, Jeff. This whole
yeah.
roster's flipped over. I'm excited to see this team. I'm excited to see Kyle
It's
Kuzma not on the team. He was the
yeah.
biggest waste. We've paid him all this money for what? I mean, what are we paying this guy for? Um,
I mean, it's a stacked team. I'll say that much. The Lakers are stacked.
you know,
They're ready to go.
we are older. I get that. That's the biggest thing. They're so
Yes.
old.
Yes.
It's called experience, and we got guys that are experienced on this team. And I'm serious. I'm dead
No, I
serious
I
here.
know, I
So
know.
it's experience. And look, I might be the only Laker fan that thought the Westbrook trade was ridiculous. I did not like it at first. I said, this guy can't shoot threes. This guy doesn't facilitate well with others, facilitate well with um, teams and he's a guy that I'm going to get my own, and that's about it. He does have assists. Don't get me wrong. He's triple double king. So those assists are there, but doesn't facilitate with others well. But then we went out and we got other guys that can shoot threes. Oh, that's perfect. So I think this team will win, and I think they'll win a lot of games. I'm not going, like you said, going off one game, and you had people going, "Oh, the Lakers aren't scary at all. Westbrook sucks." It's one game. If we're going off one game, the Bucks have give them the championship. They blew out the Nets the other night. Okay, I want to see the Lakers grow together. I want to see LeBron and Westbrook and AD hopefully all stay healthy and see what they can do. This team will be a frightening team. Jeff, I really liked the Suns last year. I know they beat us in the playoffs. I really like that team. They're young. I really like what Chris Paul did last year. We all thought and expected a drop off.
Yeah.
He did the opposite of that. To
Yeah.
see Booker go out there and play well and be the guy he can be is great. They've got pieces around him. They've got a great coach. I don't think they beat Lakers last year if they were healthy. The look the Bucks don't beat the Nets if they had everybody. I don't know if they can get back there, and that's my biggest question mark. And that's my biggest answer. Our biggest question this year, not for Phoenix because I don't think they can get back there with healthy teams. Are the Bucks legit, Jeff? Are the Bucks the team that a lot of the media think they are?
So far, yeah.
Oh,
After
it's
one game.
after one game. If you don't have the Nets as a favorite in the East, you're delusional. They're the best team. The Bucks are great. Don't get me wrong. Um, they won the championship. I was glad to see Giannis get one.
Yeah.
Last year, both whoever won, I was really gonna be happy for. Right? Giannis deserves one, but I take them as a team that can beat the Nets in a game 7, win healthy to get to the finals. I don't think so. Now, I hope they prove me wrong. I would love to see it. And if they go this year and they go through the Sixers and they go through the Nets and they make another championship, I will own it at the end of the season.
At that point, I mean, if they go another championship and win another championship,
Oh, then
I would
yeah.
have to say that Milwaukee is on the verge of maybe even a dynasty at this point. They're that good. To take out the to if they were to take out the Nets again,
Yeah. And healthy. And healthy. And look, I get that like I don't like it when people say, "Oh, well, you played easy teams." Well, I don't control the schedule. I have to show up and play this game. Um, or, "Oh, my team is injured." I
well,
don't
that's
like
hard to
those
say with
excuses.
basketball. That's hard to say with basketball because basketball's such. I mean, there's so many games. Um, and ultimately, I mean, anybody can lose at any
Well,
given night. So
what I'm getting at there is people wanna hold it against the Suns or take a little credit away from the Bucks because of injuries, and I'm just doing it right here. I get it.
yeah.
They had to show up. They had to face a team that showed up. They don't control that. Would we wanna see this team stay healthy and win it all the way, these teams stay healthy? Yes. but this is part of the game.
It was an entertaining game, I will
Oh,
say.
these series last year were really entertaining in the playoffs.
That
Um,
that 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 last game, that game 7 between the Nets
oh
and
man, that was
Milwaukee was crazy.
Hoo, hoo,
That was
hoo,
a crazy
hoo.
game. Oh, man.
He was
So
a toenail. He was a toenail length away from sending the Nets on, um, and the Nets probably would have smashed the Suns. But I digress. I think there's a lot of young talent coming into the NBA. You like talk about Luka Doncic. Look, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a Kobe Bryant diehard fan. I love Kobe Bryant. Rest his soul. I love Shaquille O'Neal. The second team that I watch in this house is Luka Doncic. He's a beast. I love him. I love watching him play. The things that he does. Um, those storylines with Dallas. The question marks is, can Porzingis be that guy?
mhm.
And I'll come out and tell you right now, I don't think he's that guy. I hope I'm wrong because Luca needs some help. Hey, you've got to give him some help or he's going to leave. But I would like to see him be the Dirk Nowitzki. I would like to see this guy stay there for years and win a couple championships and really put his name on the map. But the things he's doing right now is mind blowing. I want to see teams like the Suns, we just talked about, continue to get better.
Fresh teams,
Yes,
fresh perspectives, fresh teams.
yes.
That's why I was excited to see the Bucks win, like, it was just like, if we saw the Nets win, I would just be like, "Okay."
It's
You
these
know?
super teams.
Yeah.
And look, I got one. My favorite team is super team. And I hated the super teams of, Kevin Durant going to Golden State. I don't respect Kevin Durant for that. I never will. I don't respect him now. Um, I don't really like super teams. I got one. I'm not going to hate my own team if we win a championship. Awesome, great, fantastic.
You're
I'm
gonna throw
going to.
your hat, you're gonna
I
burn it.
um. So, but it is what it is. That is the NFL, and everybody's trying to find three superstars to play with. Last year, it kind of seemed they went to the duos. You had two guys here, two guys there, and that was okay. It's not really a super team. I didn't consider the Lakers a super team last year. Now they kind of are. Westbrook is a superstar. They've
Yeah.
got Anthony Davis. They got LeBron James. Um, they're going to be a scary team. The Nets are a super team. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be the Nets and Lakers. If you had to look at on paper and players and everything, you're probably thinking Nets and Lakers championship. But the fun part about the NBA, at least this last season, and hopefully this year, is when it comes down to the nitty and gritty, we might see a different matchup.
Mhm.
And that's what makes it interesting.
Surprises, and I think
Yes.
that's what's good. I think it's
Yes.
good. I think it's good for the NBA. I think it's good
Oh, it's
for fan base.
fantastic.
I think it's good for viewership. I think a lot. I guarantee you, there was a lot of people watching the NBA last year because it was like, "What? Like Milwaukee's? What are you talking about? Like the Suns? What are they? And so I think a lot of people watched.
I think it does. I think it does bring back some people to watch. That's a touchy subject, Jeff, because the NBA, they have lost quite a bit. They've lost quite a bit of viewers just because of protesting and all
Sure,
that.
but I think like in
They've actually
terms of
lost the most of out of any other sport.
I think there was a lot of buzz behind the playoffs last year. It was all over the social media. It was all over YouTube. People were reacting to some of the videos. I remember in I've never seen that before, um, in a long time. So it was kind of cool to watch reaction videos to that game 7. It was cool to watch, you know, as much as it was funny, these random memes of Chris Paul being thrown around the floor. Uh,
And
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 so,
and
and he actually played off of that. And so, yeah, like, it's kind of cool. A lot of people, it seemed like the NBA got a lot more, traction,
I
on multiple platforms last year, more than I've ever seen it.
I do agree with that in the playoffs, and I felt like I was watching more last year. I feel like I was more
I
excited than
was
I
too.
ever been last year to
Yeah.
watch basketball. And when the Golden State super teams are winning and you knew they were going, it was kinda hard to watch. So these teams that are coming out of nowhere, that are surprising us, that are coming up going, "Okay, these guys are young enough to win, um, and compete," and that's very entertaining for all of us to watch. So, we've got a lot of storylines there in the NBA to watch this season, Jeff, and we've got
It's gonna be fun to unfold and just as the season goes on, see everything that kind of plays out.
right,
It's gonna be fun.
baseball's coming to an end, we got basketball starting, football's in, almost middle way
Midway?
through,
Yeah.
which is already insane to me. Um, we got college football going on, so we've got this is probably the best time for sports, and we're here to break it down for you on the Outspoken Sportscast here. We do this episode usually Friday nights, a big weekend episode here. I'll jump on Tuesdays and I'll give you a kind of a um, recap of the week before NFL games. So look out for that as well. All right, Jeff. Well, it's been a fantastic show. We've had a lot of good conversations here. We've had a lot of great topics this week. It's about that time I ask you, Jeff, what's in your locker, brother?
Oh, man, my locker has been it's work. That's
Well,
what's
let me ask you. Have you been working more lately? Because I feel like when I call you, you're always at work. I'm like, is he picking up more shifts? What's going on? So fill
no.
us all.
No, no. I went to full time just to, get some extra moolah. And plus also full time allows me to take vacation days and stuff like that. So accrue vacation days. And so that's allowed me to go to Aspen and get paid to go to Aspen, and then we're going to go to Texas for 2 days or multiple days. But I'm going to take 2 days off, the 2 days before Thanksgiving, to drive up there and spend time with family. And I'll get paid for those 2 days, and then I obviously get paid Thanksgiving Day and Friday. So it's good to be able to have that ability. Once I come back, though, I think I will uh, start, figuring other things out and stuff like that. But I like where I work. The people are cool. They're cool to work with. The owners are cool. Uh, they're always understanding about stuff, so I don't really have anything to complain about in terms of work wise. It's pretty easy job. So don't tell them I said that. Uh, so yeah, other than that, I've been playing some more Ghost of Tsushima, trying to get to where I had left off before I got the PS5. So I'm trying to get to that point. My wife just finished playing Tales of Arise, and she's playing. I think it's Yakuza Like a Dragon, and she's already saying she loves it. I knew she would. It's kind of a quirky Japanese game, but if anyone listening, look it up. It's pretty insane. Other than that, I played more Rocket League. I'm obsessed with Rocket League until Last of Us Faction comes out. That's my go-to multiplayer game. Until I jump on with Brian and play some Call of Duty. We got Call of Duty stuff starting back up here in this next month. So and we do have Twitch, so if anybody wants to hop on there or watch us play, we might even live stream this stuff to Twitch as well, but we're still figuring that out. But yeah, I do go ahead and Twitch when I can. And then once Call of Duty comes out, we will be live streaming Brian and I playing Call of Duty.
That Vanguard is good, man. I like it. I like it a
It's
lot.
very good. And so yeah, and other than that, just watching some absolute garbage Broncos.
Hmm.
Um
Yeah, that was a bad one
uh
on Thursday night.
it was a nail biter, and it really made me mad that our defense couldn't stop that run. But that O line, man, the Browns O line is ridiculous, guys.
And
It is
they have
ridiculous.
2 starting running backs. So,
Their offensive line is too good, and they were just creating holes like nothing. So that running back just had, I mean, you just name it. Like as soon as they snapped the ball, there was a hole. Um. Anyway, it's I'm excited to at least see where this team goes. It's young. This Broncos team is super young, even though we got Von Miller, and we have other players on there that are veterans, but they're a young team. I'm not gonna stress out. A lot of people in Bronco country are. I mean, it's like get the pitchforks, run to Vic Fangio's house. It is what it is. I like Vic Fangio. I just think the offensive schemes that they run are weird. And the offense puts our defense in an odd position almost every game. So I can't really blame the defense too much because they're on the field 90% of the time. So I'm a Bronco fan, but I look at it and I go, I'm just watching, right? I'm observing, I'm watching. I'm not expecting anything. I know some people were expecting, oh, playoffs. No, just don't get that out of your head. Get that out of your, if we make it, great. If we don't expect it. So if you don't expect it, you won't be disappointed. Um, and that's kind of how I see this team. And really, it's holding off. So, but other than that, yeah, I've been watching them. I haven't watched baseball. It, it, I don't even know if I want to watch baseball unless Atlanta or LA is up 3 games to 1 or 3 games to 0 against Houston. Then I'll watch. But other than that, man, what's been going on in your locker?
All right, Jeff. Well, I have been training a new guy at work, and I've never trained anybody before at work, so it's pretty interesting. So this new guy he's uh he's seen it all so far. Broken down trucks, long waits here, this and that. So I'm trying to, teach him all the ropes there. So it's been kind of fun as well. So a lot of hours at work when you're training someone new, they're slower than you are, and so you got to take your time. So that's been interesting this week. We've set up my old podcast room here. As you can see, we got some different little backgrounds here, and I got a brand new mic, a brand new amazing Elgato face cam for the stream, which if you're watching it, you can see is fantastic. Um, the Uncharted trailer is out, Jeff. I saw that, and it looks really good. It looks fantastic. I think they covered if you ever played the intro first of all, if you haven't played Uncharted, stop listening to this, turn it off, okay? I'm just joking. Continue listening to this, and then when you get done, go out and get it. Play it. It's one of the best series you'll ever play for PlayStation of all time. And they made a movie about it. Tom Holland is a great actor. I really like him. Is Drake. And they picked up everything we've seen in the game. They picked up the action, the adventure, the treasure hunts, the funniness, the sarcastic funniness. They picked up everything that we've taken from this video game. They put it in a movie, and there's scenes from the game actually in the movies. Now, I do have one complaint, Jeff. I do have one complaint. And you go ahead and unmute your mic because we might talk about this a little bit here. When I go and watch a Marvel movie or a fictional movie, I know there's stuff that's not going to happen in real life, right? I know that you're going to see the Hulk smash. You're going to see the God of Thunder. You're going to see things that that's not going to happen in real life. I get it. Different realm, different whatever. This movie is based off a video game, which in a video game you can do whatever. I get the cargo scene where he gets kicked out of the plane and he's literally jumping from cargo to car. I'm like, that's so unrealistic. That's my only complaint. Like, I don't watch the Fast and the Furious movies. It's set in this time in this world where they're drifting cars. It's too fake. It's too over the top for me. But I'm going to watch. That's my only complaint. But other than that,
I think that
this
part,
looks fantastic.
I accept that part because that's fan service. That's directly
Yes,
from Uncharted 2,
yes.
quite
And
literally.
and we'll see. No, that directly is, and we'll probably see more of that in this movie.
Yeah, and I
But
think it was either Uncharted 2 or Uncharted 3, but I can't remember. I know there
I
was
think
one
it
with the
was I think
plane.
it was number 3.
3, yeah. And so, yeah, it's fan service. That specific scene is directly just for, "Here you go, fans. Enjoy that. You got to see it on
Yes.
film. You got to see it on the big screen. Now we're good," and I think that's fine. That's fine. But really, ultimately, it's gonna be a mix of action, over the top, national Treasure movie, the ones with Nicolas Cage. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
And so yeah, it's like you do like those movies, then this is what's gonna kind of be like that, but put in a Fast and Furious. you know?
Yeah, yeah, well, it looks really good. What I when I saw this trailer, I said, "Okay, if I'm playing this video game, if I'm plugging this video game right now, am I gonna pick up those things that this video game has?" And you do. You pick
Yeah.
it up right away, and I agree, it definitely is fan service, so I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch it. I think Tom Holland is, a great actor, and then Mark Wahlberg is playing Sully. Um, Tom Holland to me still looks like he's, like and sounds like he's 16, so it's kinda hard to imagine him,
Well,
being
this
a
is the cool part
twenty-year-old,
about the
but
cool part about it is this is young Drake and young Sully.
right,
So if people go and look at pictures and like they don't look like it, it's like, well, it's them. It's supposed to be them younger.
younger, yeah,
We're
and
supposed
they
to. I mean, it's like when it first starts, kind of thing.
right. Yeah, and that was great, so go watch the trailer for that and go play the video games, they're fantastic. There's supposed to be there's rumored to be a PS5 restock this weekend. I'm hoping to get my hands on one, Jeff, I still don't have one. I went to
Uh, ep- I suggest people to go follow some of these Twitter
yes,
people
Twitter,
because
YouTube,
they know when they're about to happen. They will tell you when GameStop's about to release a bundle, which typically those are pretty decent. Some of those bundles are 500 maybe $600, and you get game, you get controller, you get PS Plus cards, you get you name it. And so it's you even get like maybe even a charger for the controllers. Like, so I mean, they'll do these bundles, and they're not a rip off bundle. They're actually pretty good. Because console itself is, you know, $3.99, $4.99, and then you add a controller, you add a game. Some of these bundles have games in them, so which is pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, Twitter is there's a couple that I would follow. One of them is the guy from TechCrunch, but
yeah, I actually, when I went to Best Buy and bought the camera and microphone, I asked him, "Hey, got any PS5s?" It's obviously a no, and he said, "Go follow this guy on YouTube. He'll let you know when they're coming out, but they're gone within 2 to 3 minutes from when we get them." So,
yeah, you got to be fast.
but he said at the end of the year, starting in the beginning of next year, we will see a more of a plethora start coming out, and we will start getting them back in stock. So, if you are, what's cool, what they've done that's really cool about PlayStation is you can buy, like, I bought the Call of Duty Vanguard bundle. So when I buy it on PS4 and I go buy PS5, I don't have to buy the game again. Oh man, I gotta go buy this freaking game again for PS5. No, that allows me to just download it for the PS5 edition, and I've already got that game. That's what I did for this one. So, um, if you can't tell, me and Jeff are gamers. If this is your first time watching our show live on YouTube, welcome in. Um, next week, Jeff, we should definitely promote this live broadcast here and just continue to grow the show, guys. That's what we really want to do, is grow the show.
And this
Uh,
is the first time we've done this, so this is kind of a shotgun. Let's figure it out as we do it. So,
yeah, and we're switching over. We were using Riverside, fantastic service for those that
oh yeah,
want to do this kind of same thing. Restream Studios gives us the opportunity to customize almost everything about this. Um, we can screen share, we can play videos on it and talk to you guys through it. We can do whatever on this, and it's going to be a fantastic service for us. And we are all on all, if you don't know, all podcast services: Spotify, Apple Music. We are on Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora. Go look us up, take a listen. We give you 2 episodes a week right now. Email us if you want to email us at outspokensportscast@gmail.com. I'm also on TikTok. Jeff runs the Twitch feed. Usually I run TikTok and face.
and
We have a Facebook. Jeff does
Instagram.
Instagram.
I does the Instagram stuff. I haven't done anything lately, but I will start doing that again.
Yes, I'm on Twitter. So follow us, like us, share your comments, whatever you want to do. Follow, share, like, subscribe, do all the above. We
And
appreciate.
comment. Give us some
Yes.
comments down below, and
I've
kind of
had a
give us.
couple. Oh, sorry, go
Go,
ahead.
oh no, I was just going to talk about it specifically on YouTube, but yeah, just if you have any questions, concerns, comments, anything, just let us know. If there's a topic you want us to talk about, let us know. we will talk about it, even on TikTok.
Yes, yes. I have a couple of topics given to me from some people that are like, "Hey, maybe what's your opinion on this?" Or I had a guy on TikTok ask for a couple videos of my opinions and on that. So on certain different things, and I'll throw out a 3-minute video of what I think about a trade or whatever they want to know.
It's perfect.
It's great. TikTok allows you to do those little bitty clips. Um, and then this allows us to do full on episodes, and it's fantastic. We're also on Buzzsprout. That's who we use as well to get us to those main pages. So if you just go, if you listen just off of Buzzsprout, we are on there as well. It's
And I'll
all
and I'm gonna put a link into the Buzzsprout stuff and a few other platforms as well for the podcast when this is done.
all right, guys. Well, this is our it's episode number 77 of our podcast, but it is our number one, first, whatever you want to call it, live stream to
Yes.
YouTube. And we will be doing this for every podcast we put up. So come like, come follow, come share. And guys, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend this weekend. Whatever you got planned, be safe. Watch your football on Sunday. Do all those things. Enjoy yourself. Halloween's coming up pretty soon. We're looking forward to carving pumpkins at the Watson household. And God bless, guys.
Take care, everybody.